everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Vanessa, and as you can tell, this is my very first video. I just really feel like it's about time I started, doing more, and especially during this little quarantine, because Auntie Rona's about.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
I decided that, it was time to kind of stretch my creativity. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to go into this book that I just finished reading. Now, I got this book last week, and I literally took 3 days between last week and today to read the book. So within those 3 days, I read it cover to cover. The only thing I can say is I'm usually one of those people, once I read a good book, I pass it round. This one, I'm sorry, I can't pass it around, but if you want to be blessed, I don't mind getting another copy for you.
Do you want it? I don't want it. Because you're asking for it. You're dying for it.
Blessed. I don't mind getting another copy for you, but this book comes highly recommended. Currently, I think it's the second bestseller in the world at present, and as you can see by all the tabs I've put in, you'll know exactly why. This book is really about, I don't know, this book really has many revelations. It's taught me a lot about myself and my relational and dating life, etc. The best thing about this book is it is not just about sex, it's not just about dating, it's not just about marriage, it's about getting into the core of who you are as a Christian. So just a backstory on how I came across this book. I started watching the Relationship Goals series back in 2017, and that series kind of changed my life because I come from a season where I was not seeing anyone. I think I spent a year and something just trying to avoid men altogether, not necessarily because I had bad experiences, but I just thought at that time it was the best thing for me. So I was just getting back into the dating scene. So I was actually seeing someone at the time that this series came out, and the YouTube series came out, and I was locked in. When I say oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. When I say I was seeing this person quite casually, when I say I ended that quickly because of the series, gone, poof.
Bye, Felicia.
So after watching the series, I was really blessed by it, and then I was kind of hooked into Pastor Mike Todd's sermons and stuff like that. So I really started following him over the years, and in the past 3 weeks I have become part of Transformation Nation. Woo! So I'm now in a B group. Shout out to my awesome leaders, Keziah and Admire, you too. So for the past 3 weeks I've really been during this lockdown, I've really been wanting to draw closer to God, but I feel I haven't really given myself the opportunity. So when Pastor Mike Todd said that he was doing Relationship Goals Reloaded, I can't do the noise, nobody come for me, doing Relationship Goals Reloaded, I knew I had to become part of Transformation Church, during Transformation Nation. So as you know, I live in the UK, so I can't be there, but I'm there. And when I tell you, if you saw Sunday service, let me know, because y'all have to check it out. So back to the book. There were times, like I said, I read this book in 3 days. There were bits in this book where I was reading in bed, and I just felt so overwhelmed by all of the revelations that were coming out of this book. I was reading and crying and reading. I couldn't, I was
Why are you crying?
So this book, I have to I'll read a book twice if I feel like I didn't get the message the first time. But this one, I got the message and I'm trying to hear that message again. Like, just the background in terms of like me. I'm currently like not in a relationship. So this book is for whatever season you're in. So I'm just out of a relationship. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but yeah, I'm just out of a relationship. So this book talks about like a lot of your singleness, and because I'm newly in my singleness, like days new in my singleness, this book was really encouraging for me in this season. It's also for married people. It's also for people who are dating about. It's for Christians. It's for non-Christians. It's for whoever is wanting to, literally, as it says, win at dating, marriage, and sex. Like this book is win. So yeah, as I was going through the book, I was taking so many notes. Sorry, like you might hear crying in the background. It's my dog. So so I've been taking notes as I was going through this book, and there were just some things that I felt like I really have to like relay back to you without telling you everything that is in this book. All I can say is flames. Sorry, my ear just popped. All I can say is flames and fire. So one of the things that that really stood out to me was this verse from like 1 Corinthians 15:34. So it says, think carefully what is right. What's
wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Think carefully what is right. Your flesh will always lie to you. Let that door close. Repent, turn away, and start again. Like, I feel like for me, I always like, I'm like, but it feels right, or it's my feelings, like I'm very much like I'm very emotionally like in touch. So I go off feeling, and even if it feels right, but I know it's not right, like I'm gonna go for it. But like which has obviously served me no good throughout my whole 23 years, but we move. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that this verse alone really hit me, because I know that I'm a person who goes by feelings, and like your flesh deceives you. Anyone that's like kind of in a situation where, you know, they feel like, for me, the thing was that I always felt like, how do I put this? I always felt like in relationships, I always felt like I had to give somebody something for them to love me. Like growing up, I always felt like I was very hard to love, if that makes sense, because of, I don't know, this is like a lot of things that are deep rooted issues within myself, and like things that I've definitely carried relationship to relationship. Like I feel like I'm hard to love, so I feel like I always have to go above and beyond. So like for my flesh it would feel right, but like my spirit is just like, this ain't it. So then it goes on about, like, then the book talks about soul ties. Oh my gosh, I knew about soul ties before. Like I was very aware, because I grew up in a Christian home, I grew up in the church, so it's like I knew about soul ties. But I had an experience where like quite recently, not recently, but like within the last 2 years, I had an experience where I was in a relationship with this person, and like the first part of the relationship, like we didn't do anything like sexually. Like he was so good in that way, like, and I really respect him for that. And yeah, so then like unfortunately like the relationship ended. But when it ended, because I was very emotionally attached to him, like I loved him like with like my whole heart. I loved him very much, and I just, like, when we broke up, I was broken. Like I can't even explain like what it felt. It literally was just like someone explained it, because I was trying to explain it to like someone who's a bit older and wiser than me, and I tried to explain what it actually felt like, and she just said to me, oh, you're mourning, like, and I'm like, oh, how can I mourn someone who's still walking about? And she was just like, it's easier for you to mourn somebody because mourn somebody who's died because they're gone. You know they're gone and you can carry on. But you fell in love with somebody that you broke it off, and like the breakup was quite abrupt as well. We broke it off, there was no closure, nothing, and it was almost like this person's still alive, but they finna have half my heart, walking around with half my heart. And this, again, bearing in mind we'd never done anything like physical, so I was just like, this is like, I just don't understand. But this book talks a lot about soul ties, and especially like soul ties are not just, soul ties are not just sexual. Like you're meant to have, this is the best thing, you're meant to have a soul tie with God. Like, just, I feel like that is enough explanation. You're meant to have a soul tie with God, yet you never touch him, you never see him, you never feel him, but that's meant to be your biggest soul tie. So that kind of put like that feeling in perspective. So like for 4 months I was damaged,
because I know somewhere deep down in my heart I still love you.
I was damaged, and I remember like telling all my friends, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, cry. Every day I was crying, and I couldn't even put my finger on it. Like it got to a point where like I was just waiting for him to message me. I was waiting for him to text me, and like when he didn't, like I think that upset me more. So it got to a point where I had to like block his number, delete him off everything. I even came off Instagram.
عارفاها؟ بلوك على الفيسبوك، بلوك على الواتساب، بلوك تليفونات، بلوك انستجرام، بلوك عارفة بلوك.
Like, bearing in mind he probably didn't even know, like he probably didn't even care. So I came off everything just to try and heal myself, but yeah, I was still feeling damaged. Like I felt like it was literally like someone had taken a part of my soul and just ripped me up. So I was carrying like my feelings for him, I was like carrying my feelings for him with me like everywhere I went, and it was hard. Like it was so hard until like one day I just really prayed on it, and I just said like, God, what is the right thing to do? Because I just really cannot like break, like, oh, how do I explain it? Like I just really cannot like get over this. So yeah, so sorry, someone was knocking on the door and I forgot what I was saying. No, this is going to go against a lot of like strong independent women, like God actually told me, like so I'd been praying every single day, like for the whole 4 months like we weren't together, and God told me that you need to reach out and just lay your cards on the table. So I did, and we ended up actually getting back into a relationship, but unfortunately again it didn't work out.
Well. Next question.
And this time around it's probably not as hurtful as it was. Like as much as I love the person and as much as like I would have really liked it to work out, like this time it just didn't, and that's okay. I feel like this book came at a perfect time, because where I could have been going back to those emotions that I was before. So I actually purposed it. I actually decided this time you're not going to allow yourself to get as depressed as you did last time. So I actually said to myself, no, you're going to immerse yourself in everything. And because I'm working from home, I was immersing myself in my work, and I'm also like finishing a course as well, so I'm immersing myself in my course, etc, and I really pushed myself into this book. I pushed myself into prayer. I pushed myself into everything just to make sure that like I'm not focusing on it. Yes, I am allowing myself to like be upset about it, but I feel like, because knowing that I have a purpose in God, knowing that God has a purpose for me, like everything that happens is for a reason. Like everything that happens in your lifetime, you need to understand that as much as it hurts, it's as much as it hurts, that's just life. And the way I used to see it was, this is how like damaged it was. I used to be like, I physically cannot live without him. Like, I can't even I can't explain how it felt, guys. Like, all I can say was, it was like there was a dark cloud over my head, like 24/7. I'd wake up and I'd feel like down, and I'm usually like quite a bubbly person. I'm like one of those people who's like, I come across extrovert, but I'm not. Please don't mistake me for an extrovert, because I'm not. I really like to be in my own space. So yeah, I'm confident. Like, I'm confident in like approaching people. I love to talk, but at the same time, I'm not an extrovert. If I'm telling you I'm gonna stay at home today, I'm gonna stay at home for the next week and feel no two ways about it. But yeah, so another thing that I just wanted to talk about this book that really showed me is, I grew up in like the kind of environment, like, I'm not saying that my upbringing was horrible, my upbringing was terrible, but I grew up in the kind of environment where my parents just allow me to make my own mistakes. So in that way, like, it wasn't like, oh, my mum, like, basically my motto is this is what I used to say to people, like, my own mother doesn't tell me what to do, so why should you? So that's the kind of attitude that I've had around everything. So I remember I was part of this church, and sorry, there's something that so I remember being part of this church, and I always felt like they were telling me what to do, and I always used to, and I used to be like a snapback, like with me, like I rarely hide my feelings, and I rarely hide like what's going on inside my head. And that's something that I'm about to touch on as well. So with me, like, I don't like being told what to do. So reading this book really helped me to analyze like myself in a relationship. So I'm the kind of person, like, on top of I don't like being told what to do, I like to be in charge. Like, I like to make sure, like, being independent woman sort of thing, I like to make sure everything is like the way that I want it to be. Otherwise, if it's not Vanessa's way, you better get lost, because it's not my way. And like I said, that is stinking thinking. Nobody coming at me. But yeah. So what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Okay, I remember. So yeah. So I had the attitude that I don't really like being told what to do. So like which shows you that submission, it just ain't my thing. Like, and that's something, like, obviously, like, the Bible talks about women's having to submit to their husband, and that is something, like, even in relationships, like, I've just struggled. Like, the guy could be running for God, he could be so, like, sold out to God, but let him tell me what to do. Something in me would reject that 100%. Something in me would just say no, like, and I don't know what it is. I've always had like an issue with like leadership and stuff like that, but again, like Pastor Todd says, we're humble, we're open, we're transparent. I'm being real with you, because there's probably somebody out there who struggles with the same thing and doesn't understand like why. But I can really say, like, I struggle to submit, which really put me in the position to really start to like analyze where I am as a person right now. Like, am I ready to like go into like a relationship that's going to lead to marriage? Like, as much as like I was saying, like, as much as I really felt like the person that I was with last was the one, was I ready? Like, I had to really sit down and analyze and say, like, it's not even the fact that, oh, maybe he wasn't right for me. I had to sit there and think, am I right for him? Am I the right person to be, you know, carrying his mission? Am I the right person to be like in like his picture? So it's just very, yeah. Yeah, so a lot of the book was like, a lot of the book was such a revelation to like who I am in Christ. What is my purpose? my purpose. Some people, they talk about relationship goals and they're comparing it to what they've seen on Instagram. They're comparing it to the YouTube video. I remember thinking, oh, I should have turned on my thing. Oh well, it's too late. I was like thinking like there's this one couple that I saw their wedding video, and I felt like this feeling where I was just like, I would love to be her right now, because I saw their wedding video. Their wedding video was amazing. It's on YouTube. Bethel and Marvin Brown, if you guys ever see it. But I watched their wedding video and was thinking like, why can't I have that? Why can't I have those kind of relationship goals? Their relationship is beautiful, so I'm not saying anything, but all I see is what they post. I don't know what goes on in the background. So I'm here coveting something that I haven't, like, that I'm not even in, I'm not experiencing. And that's one of the issues that I used to have. I used to compare my relationships to everyone else. Like, how come she gets this, and how comes he, you know, he does this for her, and and that again was about something in me that felt like I was hard to love, and that's a very, very deep issue that I need to deal with. So yeah, so a lot of it is about me being hard to love. So I used to compare and want those relationship goals. Like I want to have an amazing big wedding, but I had to sit and think, do I want the marriage? Like, am I, as a person, as much as I'm working on myself every day, and I would love to say yes, one day I would really love to be married. I feel like God is calling me to marriage, but like, marriage is a ministry. Not everybody is called to it. I'm just gonna say this now. It's a ministry, and not everybody is called to it. So please don't just go rushing. So yeah, I've lived by this, like, oh, I'm 23, soon I'll be 25, and then I'll be 30, and then I'll be 35. Like, if not now, when?
Get done. If God don't do it, it won't get done. If God don't do it, it won't get done. It's gonna take a minute.
When, God? When? So yeah, this book really convicted me about, like, about a lot of those things that I've just said. I went off on a tangent, so I can't even tell you what I just said, but I know that it all relates. But this book really convicted me about, like, my timeline. It really convicted me about, oh yeah, submission. Like, the submission. So I just feel like this book convicted me about being able to be under a man's mission, because one thing in the book says that what a man needs, and a man needs to be a man. Like, and as for me, I feel like upon self-reflection, I feel like I will struggle until, like, I can genuinely put that down. I will struggle until I can, like, lay that down, like, at the feet of God. I will struggle to really submit because of my upbringing. And, like, that's okay, because God wants us to come as we are. So I'm coming as I am, and I'm honest about myself, and I say, God, I struggle in this area, and that's okay, because now during my singleness, God can build me up. God can work on those areas in me. Sorry, there's something flying in front of my face. But yeah, so those are some of the things that really convicted me in this book. So I definitely feel like you guys really, so just to see the front cover again, I just really feel like you guys need to invest. If you don't invest in anything this year, invest in this book. I got it for £15 from Blackwell's. It's sold out on Amazon, so I had to go, like, looking all over the internet for it, but it's selling like hotcakes. And if you don't get this book, you're missing out. So like I said, it's not just for Christians. It's not just for people in relationships. It's not just for married people. It's for singles. It's for singles. It's for courting. It's for dating around. It's for marriage. So yeah, I really picked up a lot of tools from this, just to really serve, and just to really serve the season. So, like, now that I'm in this new season, I'm really just feeling like it's a chance for me to serve the season. And I feel like whatever happens in the next few days, in the next few weeks, in the next few months, my goal is to just be faithful to this season and really just make God my number one relationship goal. Your relationship goal with God has to be the most important goal that you're chasing. And I can tell you from my own experience, if God's not in the center, it ain't gonna work. It is not going to work, and I'm telling you, that is free information. I feel like in my next few videos that I'm planning to do, you'll get to know more about my story a bit deeper, and like not just relationships, just my overall story. But I have experienced enough to know that when God is not in the center, trust me, you're not going anywhere. And you can still get the ring, you can still get married, but when God's not in the center, you will still not go anywhere, because marriage is not the end goal. Because when you're married, when you have your wedding, there's still a marriage, and you know, as you know, the divorce rates are high. So I'm not trying to be somebody who is divorced, and that's no disrespect to anyone who's divorced, but as for me and myself, I want to be in a relationship, in a marriage that lasts for years, that lasts until death do us part. That is my goal. So it's better that during these seasons, single seasons or dating seasons, that you get it right from here, so that you don't suffer in the time to come. And I feel like that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover today and wanted to talk about. But again, y'all need to get this book. If you don't get this book, you're in trouble. So yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I definitely look forward to making more videos. Bye.